Aloha, namaste, sitaram, assalamu alaikum, shalom, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to each and every one of you, to our lovely audience here on the Divine Soul Journey. My name is Dianne Ojar, and I'm so happy to be here with you. And it's always a thrill to bring you all these amazing guests with words of wisdoms and teachings, and there's so much. And you're here for a reason. We would like to hear why you're here and share your story with us. And you could always connect with us at dsjshow2020 at gmail.com. As a disclaimer, I just want to let you know this is not about Taoism or religion or any isms for that matter. We respect everybody's beliefs and faith. So I would like you to just sit back, enjoy the show. We know we do practices, and when we do the practices, we will give you instructions what you can do, but just relax and enjoy the show. It is my pleasure to introduce this lovely lady. She is a two-time best-selling author. Being an author myself, I understand what that means. And one of her books is about soul journey, so we're super excited to hear about that and what inspired her to write the book. Because you have to have a story. We all have a story. Sometimes it's just putting it down to paper or get someone to help you write it. But I would love for you to help me welcome Cenly Wong. Welcome, Cenly, to the Divine Soul Journey. And thank you so much for spending this time with us.
Hello, Dianne. Hello, everyone. All the way from Brisbane, Australia. Hello.
Well, hello there. So tell me, Cenly, how are you today?
I'm good.
Good,
Yep.
good. Tell us a little bit about who is Cenly. You're very multi-talented in many different ways, I know. You play instruments and so forth. So tell us a little bit of who is Cenly.
Okay, a bit about myself. So where do I start?
Well, first of all, you're a mom of 4 boys, and the
Yes.
fifth being your husband. Let's start there. You're a school teacher.
Okay. Yes, I'm a high school teacher. I do teach special needs students as well. So I teach both the mainstream and the special needs students at my school. And I wrote 2 multi-author books, which was published in 2020. And the first one is about my soul journey. So my chapter, initially I wanted to write a memoir, and it's a tribute to my parents. They're still living, but back then I wanted a memoir wanted it to be published before their passing. So and that was the beginning of this chapter of my soul journey in this book called Leaders, published by AMA Publishing. And with that chapter, it started my journey back when I was a child. And then through how my life journey was, I was born in Malaysia. My family and I moved to New Zealand when I was 11. And then I came to Brisbane to start my tertiary studies as a medical scientist in a uni here. And then I have been in Brisbane for over 25 years now. Yep.
Whoa. Quite a journey, girl. I know you're a very busy, busy woman. So I can imagine. So how did you end up? Let's go back now and let's talk about this. Did you grow up in a traditional family that was spiritual? Because I know a lot of the in Malaysia and places, that area, there's a lot of spirituality in the area. There's a many different. The culture is very spiritual. Was that you? Was your upbringing along
Yes,
those lines?
Yeah, definitely. I grew up in a household where my mom is a devout Buddhist. So I am familiar with Guan Yin and all the Buddhist teachings. And my grandparents, more so my grandmother, excuse the road,
That's okay.
Taoist. And currently, I'm living with my mother-in-law, who's also a Taoist. So they, with our ritual and practices, there's such difference as well between Buddhist and Taoist. Yeah.
And the kids, do the kids also do practices? Are they involved in this?
So my 4 boys, the eldest is 16, and then my youngest is 9. I have a 14-year-old and also a 10-year-old. Um, they know mommy is spiritual, but they, like the second child, the 14-year-old said that I don't believe I don't believe in, and it's okay, you know. I am who I am, and they're only exposed to at home being with me. Um, they haven't been exposed to other religion, and it's I don't enforce that they have to, but it's there, like, like they do watch mommy do practices, and so like we have a family altar, but I do have my own altar as well, and they know it's always been there. They know about Amitofo, they know what he looks like, they know what Guan Yin looks like, they know what Sujamonifo looks like. So they are also, I guess, exposed to that environment with their schooling, because they are born in Australia. They have heard about Christianity, but probably not so much because they go to public school. Yeah.
Very nice. And again, it's a different culture we're talking about, a different generation. Absolutely. But I'll say one thing, all the work and how spiritual you are, the blessing goes to them as well. So that's all I can say about that. And when you mention Amitofu and Guan Yin and so forth, these are very powerful guided saints, what we call shifus, and just for people to understand the terminology. We will not get into that, but they're very high powered beings that you work with, I work with as well, and yeah, it pretty much saved our lives. So I do understand that, but for those who don't understand that, it's okay. It's like Jesus and Mother Mary, but a different group as well. So thank you. So tell us about why you wanted to write the book or even do the memoir. What was the reason behind it? And I know, I mean, I'm in many books. I have my own books, and I'm very selective of where I put the book in. However, at the end of the day, there has to be a reason why you wanted to share what you shared in that book.
Yeah. So when I mentioned at the beginning about a tribute to my parents, because I think it's important for me to tell their story as well, because we come from a humble beginning. My parents, they grew up in a village in Malaysia, and they married young. So my mom had me before she's 20, and she was married by 18. So it takes a lot for someone with humble beginnings to even migrate, and let alone migrate to 2 countries, New Zealand and Australia. And I want to tell their stories about their struggles and what they've been through, and also to highlight their accomplishment, because we are the only ones out here. Like, all my relatives are back in Malaysia, and looking at the privileges that my children has now, they would not have if they were in Malaysia. But even for us, like all 4 of us gone through university, while if we were still in Malaysia, that would not be the case at all.
Sure.
Yeah, so I really want to tell there's a little bit about my parents' story in my chapter, and I want it also to bring hope out there for people that anything is possible. Just because you are born in a low income or working class doesn't mean that that's fixed for life. Yeah.
What about the on the cultural side in terms of language? How did they cope with that when they came from New Zealand and then they went to Australia? That must have been. Did they know
Okay.
to speak English at that
Oh
time?
yes, yeah.
Oh, so
I remembered I was still in primary school, and there's a reason why my parents enrolled me in a Malay school back then in Kuala Lumpur. Um, like my parents took us out from the village in Perak, which is another state, and to the city. So Perak is a very small town, and then to the capital city. And I actually studied in the most prestigious primary school in Kuala Lumpur, where like the government officials' children go to. The Minister of Education all go there. And my dad had the connection as a mechanic then. He's retired now also. He's a traditional Chinese medicine doctor, retired from that as well. But back then, he managed to find a job and then open up his own service, car service, in the petrol station down the road from that school. So that's how we were managed to enroll in that school. And I remembered one day that Dad came out and told, well, we started having tuitions in English. Back then, if you study in a Malay school, you get exposed to English. Well, if you go to a Chinese school, that's it. You don't learn any other except for straight Chinese. You don't even learn the alphabet. And now I know the reason. They've been planning so that by the time I went to New Zealand, it was easy for me to catch up because we already speak English, and our education was a bit more, I guess, more advanced in terms of like maths. I could do
yes.
maths like straight away. Both my brother and I were in the top class, and that carry on. So I am just forever grateful how my parents. It was not easy because we being the first one to come out and migrate overseas. My dad especially, he had so many verbal abuse from his relatives that keep saying, he can't make it. Who do you think you are? All that. And now look at us. We're still
Absolutely.
the only one overseas. Yeah.
And that's a really interesting point that you bring up there. When we were growing up too as well, our parents always say, it's education, and so forth, because we grew up with the English system in Trinidad, and we don't know what we don't know. We don't see it. But for a parent to understand, and I applaud your parents for mapping out your future, the understanding that they don't want their kids, your siblings, to struggle. There's a better life out there, and sacrifice what they had to sacrifice. I'm sure it was not easy, whether it be the family or not, but financially as well. It must have been really, really tough on that. However, when you have a goal in mind and you have a dream, especially to your children, getting up every day and doing what you're doing, it's a huge blessing and sacrifice. So yes, I understand, because most parents don't forecast or see their kids out there at a better future. But some of the other countries, where there's more struggle and lower income, there's a dream that they always want something better for their children. Not so much for themselves sometimes, but mostly for their children. Of course, they come along, but there are times when the parents stay back and the children move forward. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you sharing that with us, because that says a lot, Sandy, in terms of the blessing, that is a blessing for you to highlight and do a tribute to your parents. And hopefully your children will see what it is that you're doing. And it's a beautiful thing, to tell you the truth. Now I know
Yeah, I just
you've had
yeah.
you've had your moments and your ups and your downs in life, because life is and now, by the way, telling me that story explains a lot about the conversation we had before. So
Mhm.
now I understand about the logic and the mathematician mind behind that brain. Always wanting the best for your children as well. So that explains a lot there. I am sure it came with a lot of, like everything in life, to be on a journey. You have your ups and downs. We're all human. And I'm sure it wasn't, although you were very gifted in school, I'm sure you've had your moments. Because when we're in a soul journey, we have our moments. Is there, how, well, since I know the journey you're on to a certain degree, but what would sometimes when you felt like, were you able to do all of this? Are you doing it on your own? Did that happen
Yep.
to you? Because you always had support?
Yep. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, a lot of people, say like, "Oh, you're a super mom," and then some people say, "Oh, I don't know how you do it." And then I just tell them, I don't think about it. I just do it because I'm in the moment. And I would not be here where I am had I not have so much support behind me from my family. Even my husband, he's very supportive. Like, he doesn't believe and practice with me, but he never tell me to stop. And for that, I'm very grateful. And my mother-in-law, we stay with her, and she helped us with taking the kids to school. And my parents actually live, like, we live in the south side, they live in the north side. So I have my support around me, and I have beautiful, amazing friends, physical friends, and so family from, like, globally. I'm just
Hmm.
so blessed. And yeah, I every day I just wake up so grateful. Yeah.
Now, thank you for sharing that. You actually work with, um, as a teacher, gifted children, correct? Or
Yes.
special needs. I want to make sure I get that correct. Is it special needs or gifted?
It's special needs, but I I teach special needs students and mainstream, but I tutor gifted students. I also tutor, like, outside of school hours. So on Saturday, I also go out and tutor.
Lovely. Oh, geez, that is quite a. You have a lot on your plate. There's a lot on your plate in
Mm.
regards to you're working a typical 9 to 5 job, hypothetically, and then you have the 4 boys plus your husband. Then you have, working with special needs children during the day. It's not an easy task, as we all. It's not easy to work with children, period, but special needs. And then you have to go the weekend and work with gifted children, which they demand attention because you have to keep up with them. And of course,
Mm.
you have your soul journey and everything else that you do. I know that side of you to a certain degree. That is quite a plateful. How do you balance this? Like, how do you cope with all of this? Because,
Mm.
again, sometimes all these, for example, your boys, they see you as super mom, and then you're working with special needs, and then they see you with gifted kids. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What do
Yes.
they say? Do they say anything, or do they even notice or observe?
No, actually,
They're just entitled
yeah,
just entitled for you to bring home whatever it is they want.
they don't really see, that side of me. They just see mom, because I take off my hat. I take off my teacher hat when I get home. I take off my tutor hat when I get home. So they only see mom's side, unless mom have work to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really blessed because my boys rarely need help, like academically. They never, like, even when I offer, like, do you need help with your schoolwork and stuff, they always, like, when I was their age, we had no choice. We had to go tuition. But like, this is, a live-in teacher and tutor at home at their disposal, and they never really need, especially even my eldest one, who's in his final year of high school. He rarely needs my help with schoolwork, so I am very grateful in that sense. And with my tutoring, I like I it's easy. It comes easy for me. With teaching, I started tutoring when I was 14, on and off.
Okay.
And I know now I have a gift of teaching. And with special needs, I wasn't even trained as a special education teacher. But somehow I ended up with these children because they see the connection I could build very quickly with these children, and they are a lot more calmer when I'm around. Yeah, so I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
You had me thinking here. This might be politically incorrect to say, but I feel like I'm working with special needs too as well to get them the breakthrough. People come to me when I don't know, when I work with experiential breakthroughs and results oriented, as you know, and you've experienced. So that just crossed my mind there. Probably has nothing to do with this conversation, however. So how do you balance Cenly doing everything
Yes.
for her mission, her soul mission, and everything else? Like Cenly, like seriously,
Okay.
you got 5, 6, 7 people in the house.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure it's not a huge house and it's boys and everything else. How do you balance all of this?
Okay. All right. I'll let you in
No,
on my
I am
key
sure she
secret.
has I'm sure she has a schedule. She is an organizer. She has a schedule. I could just see it. But go ahead.
Yes, yes. Um, I have a built-in clock. I don't need an alarm clock, and I don't sleep very much. I can get by with 4 or 5 hours sleep. And now I know it's partly to do with, childhood trauma, because back in New Zealand, we live at the bottom of a hill, and the trauma was I could hear squeaking like motorbike speeding through down the hill, and then I always have to. I'm very light sleeper. I think it's because of that. So that was since I was 14. You know, and the other one is very spiritual. Um, just maybe 2 years ago. It's not a deal or a compromise, but it's what I've been told and guided. I received messages from my heavens team, and the message is I will be there. I'm a vessel for them to do the work I do. Well, not I do, but being guided to, and they look after my family and me. So I know that I will always, and my family will always be loved, supported, and protected. And that takes a lot of like my emotional health, that I know I have that peace of mind that I don't have to carry it with me when I do what I do. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. No.
Yeah.
No, here's the thing. I'm going to put it in simple English, in a fun way. You pretty much have a deal with our divine source, heaven's team, and say, okay, you know what? I serve you. And we're all protected. You have nothing to worry about. Now, I know I'm saying this in a different way. But yes, we all guided by heaven. And yes, we have to make that commitment. And that's the deal. It's a commitment to serve.
Yep. Yes.
People say different ways and say, God first. than family, and so forth. It's the same thing we're saying. We just use different terminology. When we say Tao, source, divine, we're saying God. And it's just a different terminology.
Yeah.
When we
Source,
say spirit,
creator, all the same
it's
thing.
soul, right? Intuition, gut
Yeah.
feeling, unconscious mind, subconscious mind. It's the same thing we're saying. That's why we respect everybody's faith and belief, because we're not here to convince anyone. You have a belief. We grew up, we did not choose. Well, I wouldn't go into that because we did, but we did not choose the family culture that we were born into to a certain degree. Yes, we picked our parents. Yes, we picked that, but I don't want to have that conversation right now. But the fact is, I grew up as a Presbyterian, and my dad had another brother, and he was Presbyterian, but half his children is Catholic and half is Jehovah's Witness. But we're the only ones who are Presbyterian in the family. So again, that's how we were brought up. But my mom was brought up a little differently too as well. So we were born into that. And that's all good. However, with religion, there's two parts. This is not about religion, everyone. But I don't know how we got in this topic. But when we look at this, there's two components. There's a physical religion when you go to church and everything else, which is great. But there's also a spiritual side. So if you look in the Bible and you look at it through spiritual eyes and teachings and wisdom, you will see it very differently. It opens up the consciousness even deeper inside. So we're not here to take away from what your belief is whatsoever. But if you want more peace of mind, I'm just saying be open-minded to the possibilities. Actually, I shouldn't say possibilities because there's opportunities. The possibilities, whether you do it or not, there are opportunities out there. What you don't know, you don't know. And this is what we're saying. So this is how we are guided into our journey. It's not for everyone as yet. But you have to know what it is you want and what you need. So you pretty much are very organized in your life, prioritized. You've been going through this. And it's possibly because you were brought up in that since you were very young, to have that understanding. This has helped you because being Asian, it's a very disciplined, and especially being spiritual, you're very disciplined. Just think about Tai Chi and so forth. Very disciplined. So you're a very disciplined person.
Yes. And I am very consistent. I seldom lose, I'm just consistent and disciplined. On the flip side, it's also, I hope I don't do that with my boys. I have to give them a bit of leniency.
That's right.
So they, yes.
This is not, because it's a different generation, a different culture now, especially now, right?
Yeah.
And in a different country. However, never to lose sight. And when they get older and decide what it is they want to, whatever their journey is, they'll figure it out. You're not there to figure it out for them. You can plant the seeds, but you really trying means fail. There's no failure, only lessons to learn. To push them towards that, good luck with that. It's like,
And can I just share?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just one aspect. So, like for my generation, it was so important, like the four of us, it was so important for my dad that each of us get a university degree because he didn't finish primary school. He left when he was 8, and my mom left when she was 12. And the reason why he left was he was one of the 8 children. He's in the middle, and his brother was going to be sold. So he literally ran and grabbed his my uncle back, and then give it back to his mom and said that I will quit school and start working. This is 8 years old, right? 8-year-old him, and he so he quit school and then started selling without any shoes. Selling, like he had to carry very heavy, like on the street, selling bread, selling things like selling ice cream or whatsoever, just so that they can have enough to keep his siblings. And my mom, she was quite academic. She was nearly going to get a scholarship, but she also left her education because she's the eldest of 8 as well, and she her mom needs help, you know. So it was important for my dad, the 4 of us, have like a proper education, and that's why one of the main reasons we migrated, because we would never have that opportunity in Malaysia. And now I told my boys, because time are different, I told them, I don't expect you to have a university degree, because looking at the time now, especially in Australia, it's better off. Like a lot of university graduates could not find a job.
That's true.
And my second child, he's 14, but he's out right now working with my husband, who's a tradesperson. My husband is a painter, house painter, and he's a handyman and does like garden maintenance and constructions and renovations. So he's out right now with my husband, being the little apprentice. And I told them, Mommy, don't expect you to get a university degree. If you have a gift, as in a hands-on skill job, I would rather you go to TAFE, like a college,
Yes,
get
a
an
skill laborer,
apprenticeship
yes.
or a trainee, which earn even more than a university graduate.
They do.
Yes, times are different.
Oh yeah, it's so different because people constantly. I mean, it's a huge it was a dying skill because the older people, the plumbers and so forth, the older men. It was a dying skill, and if everybody goes to university and everybody gets big jobs, there's no one to fix anything. And yes, they make. Believe me, it's not easy, but they make a lot of money. And he would get the lessons he would learn, the street skills and everything else he would learn will take him very far. And down the road, if he decides that he wants to do it, it's his choice. I so resonate with your parents because my mom too, which is, oh my God, what was that? Standard 6. So she would have been maybe around 11, 12. Yes, she had to leave too because she was the oldest. And my grandmother had 7 or 8, I think it's 8 siblings, children, and she was the oldest. And my grandfather, a very wealthy man, but with the 4 first kids. And then he did not stay with her. I don't know what the reason was. But the point is, she ended up at my grandmother's to sell in the market, the food market, like, the big markets. And that's how she stayed home. And she took care of them. But I'll tell you one thing about my mother. She used to always say, and she could read and write. She'll always say, I only have like a what we call standard 6 education. I don't know what you call it there. Which would probably be like a grade 7, something like that, education. But they talk when they come into money sense, and when they come into street sense and common sense, she calls it. You couldn't beat her back on that. Oh my goodness. And that's why she also made sure that we wanted to get education. Education was very important as well. My father, he actually, and they got married when they were like 18, 19, something like that. And he actually became a school teacher. He got a scholarship, school teacher. And while he was doing that, teaching woodwork, he used to do like one piece of furniture, and then and sell it and so forth. They used to have to fill water. They had to do all these things before school. My mom had 6 children, and I'm the last, 5 after my mom was sick and so forth. But the idea behind that is they built a business. But that's a whole nother story, another conversation on when the people eventually burned down the business and so forth. And he was diabetic. But the point I'm saying is, I understand that the sacrifice they made for us. Definitely so. So when we're saying that, sometimes we do what we have to do because. But I would
Yeah.
love to right now, you know, with your permission, of course, to give you, or unless you want to do it to me, but to give you a
Mm-hmm.
blessing. I know we had quite a conversation earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
you do a forgiveness, very simple forgiveness practice, which we always do. I try to make it as simple, elaborate, but again, um, for whatever it is you need, if that's okay with you.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm
So
happy to receive. Thank you.
you're very welcome. So, for all our wonderful audience out there, we typically do a forgiveness practice and we give a blessing, and the blessing is geared towards Sunday. However, you would receive a splash or a flash of what we call it. Just sit back and relax. If you don't want to accept it, you don't understand, then say, you know what? It's okay. I'm not ready to receive it. If ever you hear the um, the show again and you decide that you want to at one time, you certainly can. Definitely, and I would tell you this is real, and you can share it with friends and family if you choose to as well. And we appreciate that. So for those who are lying down,
Uh,
please do lie down, and just be still. If you're going to
Gu-
repeat it,
um,
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I've just received guidance. Can after I receive the Tao Healing Hands
Hmm.
blessing, can I reciprocate with my Tao Song blessing? Because I'm a
Absolutely.
Tao Song practitioner, and then I'm going to use my Soul Song
Okay, so here's what we're going to
for
do,
that.
Stanley. Here's what we're
Okay,
going to do.
all right.
Um,
Yeah.
I can always give you a blessing some other time, but let them
Okay.
experience the
All right.
Tao song blessing and the
Okay.
forgiveness
Yep.
practice. So why don't you do it? Do the forgiveness practice, and then you can offer the Tao song blessing, and that is even more powerful than what I was going to do. Well, they're all powerful,
Okay.
but it's different. So
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah, it's a different one. Okay. All right.
thank you so much.
Forgiveness practice.
So
Okay.
as I was saying, so if
Mhm.
when Sandy is telling you, I'll just prep them, finish prep them. And those who are sitting down, and if you have to repeat anything out loud, it's okay. But if you're lying down, stay very quiet and still, because the energy flows through goes through the body, and you can drain yourself. Even when you're saying prayers, say prayers in silence when you're lying down. But if you're sitting up or standing, as long as you're grounded and your feet is on the ground, you can speak it out loud. Again, just relax. And Sandy plays instruments and stuff. I don't think she's going to play an instrument right now. However, her voice, she does a lot of performances and so forth. So we are very lucky. So I know I am. So I'm all for it. Thank you so much, Miss Sandy.
Okay, no problem. All right,
And where do
everyone.
you want her to put their
Just close.
hands? And tell them where you want them to put their hands.
Okay, yes, I'm going to guide them. Okay. All right, so we're going to do a quick forgiveness practice first. So just close your eyes and have okay, applying the secret power techniques. Body power. Place one palm below your navel. Place the other palm over your heart. Forgiveness comes from your heart and soul. And all right, I just want to quickly say the importance of doing a forgiveness practice before we receive a blessing is to not just ask for forgiveness, but also to help yourself to clear any blockages that that you have in the particular area of request. Okay, and it will really help you once the some of the blockage can be cleared, you can receive more. Okay, and make it more powerful that way. So all right, so that's body power with the hand below your navel and the other palm over your heart, and soul power. So we do an evocation and say hello. All right, so dear the divine Tao and source, dear heaven and Mother Earth, dear all my spiritual fathers and mothers in heaven and on Mother Earth, and dear my soul, heart, mind, body. Okay, I love you, honor you, and appreciate you. Okay, all right, and please forgive all the harm that I have caused others through my life journey. Okay. I ask for your forgiveness. And also for all the souls that have harmed or hurt me, I forgive you unconditionally. All right. Okay, so let's say hello, soul power. And we move on now to mind power. So visualize golden light shining in and around the area of your request. Okay. All right. So in, like, for example, physical health, emotional or mental health. Okay. State your request. Breath power, focus on abdominal breathing. Follow nature's way according to your own health condition for your breathing. And sound power. Right, we'll do chanting of Da Kuan Shu, greatest forgiveness. And then after that, I will guide you and then receive a Dao Song blessing from me. Okay, all right. Da Kuan Shu, Da Kuan Shu, Da Kuan Shu, Da Kuan Shu, greatest forgiveness, greatest forgiveness, greatest forgiveness, greatest forgiveness. Okay, and now we are ready. So have that area of request in your focus and receiving now a Tao Song blessing. Okay, blessing ends. All the souls who have joined us for this blessing, love you and thank you. Please return to your abode. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Dianne.
Thank you. Thank you. Are you going to Gong Song?
Sorry, what?
You going to say Gong Song?
I already said Gong Song.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Gong Song basically means all this, the heavenly beings who came to return
please
home.
return to your abode. Yes.
Yes. They have to rest too, you know. It's a lot of work dealing with us. You got to have some fun and humor because they're very witty as well. Let me tell you that one. Yeah, I could feel in my back too as well. And it's peaceful. The Dao song is very peaceful and very powerful. And I actually took off the music while you were doing it so people can get the full force and to hear your voice. And of course, you know, doing this over the radio is a little different than when you hear it in personal or different other social media platforms. But definitely it's the power and your soul will stand attention. I could still feel there's a coolness in my body. So thank you so much, Cenly, for that. You know what? We have a few minutes. Let me give you a blessing because I did promise it. And I don't want to make sure I miss it because at the end of the day, it is what it is. we're here. Let's do it now. So close your eyes, everyone. Again, you can have a request in any area that you choose, especially if you have pain. That's probably the best measurement to use right now, a relationship and so forth. But if you have something that's bothering you pain wise, discomfort, that might be the best thing to focus on. So Sunny already did a forgiveness practice, so I'm just going to the blessing. So just close your eyes, continue to breathe, continue to relax. And when I ask you to say your name 3 times, you're going to say your name, the full name 3 times. So here we go. How? That means hello. Dear Divine Soul, dear mothers and fathers and heavenly beings and heaven community, and there all the outer soul, the moon, the stars, the sky, Mother Earth. And there my daughter died in hands. And also, call on your original soul. Just call it. You don't have to understand this. Just say your original soul, your spirit. Just call on it. And we all have treasures. Yes, you all have treasures. You may not know you have treasures, gifts, and talents. But whatever type of modality you have, meaning trainings and wisdom, and certain things that you can do, please do activate it. But you do have very specific treasures that was given to humanity holistically as well. So just say, there are my light treasures in my lower abdomen. That's one of your energy centers. Please activate. And thank you. So now, would you like to close your eyes? Keep breathing. And I'm going to say, Dear Divine, please offer a blessing as appropriate to Cenly Wong. And Cenly, say your name 3 times, and everybody else who's on there, you get a splash of this, so you could say your name silently or out loud. It's up to you. But Cenly, this is focused on you. They will get a splash. So say your name 3 times. It could be silent or out loud. For a blessing in the area of your choice that you want to focus on. Again, it could be relationship, pain, health, whatever the case may be. And please, if you can, transform all the negative messages or darkness or obstacles or challenges that may be occurring into light, positive messages. And in our soul journey, in our what we call the soul, mind, heart, and body, the Shen, Qi, Jin, and matter. Don't worry too much about the Mandarin part of it. Just focus on the area that you're focusing on. And there we go. Blessing starts. He hung a shiwa, he hung a shiwa, he hung a shiwa. Oh, 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 How? Sadi, did you want to share if you can, if not, if it's not appropriate, it's okay. If you what you saw, because I know your third eye is open, or a message or anything.
Okay, thank you, Dianne. I saw there were lots of saints when you send the blessings. They were surrounding us, and our heaven's teams, so they are together as well during the blessing. So we're in the presence of them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that means a lot to many. And for those who don't understand, that does mean a lot to you as well. So thank you for sharing. Sometimes the messages is long, sometimes it's not. We will accept whatever we get. Absolutely. So if you put our hands in our prayer position, whoever you give thanks and gratitude is fine. And you just bow your head and say thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you, love you, love you. Always say things in threes for the like the Holy Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, three in the Trinity. It's very important that you do so. We love you and we appreciate you and thank you, divine soul. Thank you, all heavenly beings, for coming, all the souls. Thank you, my eye healing hands. Thank you, Master Shah. Thank you, Sunday soul. Thank you, my soul, my treasures. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you all. And total respect, total gratitude. Thank you. Gong Song, Gong Song, Gong Song. Thank you. So, how is everybody feeling? Everybody's feeling relaxed, happy, peaceful. If you feel nothing, that's still good. Do know that sometimes we have so many layers of blockages that it's so thick on there that before you get to the point of the core, you got to go through a lot of healing. So, Sandy, did you want to share any thing with us as we're wrapping up here as well? Any messages you want to share with anyone, with everyone?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dianne, for inviting me. I'm so grateful to be here and so grateful to connect with everyone who's listening. Yeah, I'm just blissed out. I'm in a happy place at the moment, so
Good.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for the blessing.
You had a lot of healing today. What about your books? Where can they get your books?
Okay, you can find them on Kindle, Amazon Kindle. So there's two books. The first one is about my soul journey, and the second one is I wrote a chapter on introducing meditation to schools. Being a teacher, and also I do have introduced meditation to the school community where I teach. And you can find them. And Dianne, how do they
Cenly.
like? Is there
Cenly,
yes,
my lovely. What are the name of the books?
yes, yes, yeah. So I was thinking, okay, the first they are both by AMA Publishing. So the first one is called Leaders, Women Who Changed the World Through Their Business. And the second one is called Awakening, Meet the Woman Birthing a New Earth.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And you can find them, they are available hard copies as well. Yeah.
Lovely. So, the question you're going to ask is, you can give them their your contact information if they like, if they want to connect with you.
Yes. Yeah. So those who want to connect with me, I do a lot of different healing modality depending on what you need. Because I customize and personalize, and I am a Guanyin lineage holder as well, so I can offer Guanyin blessings apart from Tao Healing Hands, Tao Song blessings, and I interpret Bazi. So Bazi is actually one of the Chinese metaphysics. It's similar to astrology, but not quite. It's more like a destiny code. So it's very specific, like not just but the month, but yeah, just connect with me if you're interested in Bazi. And I do ribbon therapy, which is using ribbon as a kind of soul movement to help with your health and mobility. What else do? I facilitate yoga nidra, and I also do reading through a deck of cards, but it's not card deck. It's called Clarity Card. My friend designed it. It's actually a board. So yeah, you can find me on www.cenlywellnesscorner.com, and I would be happy to hear from you.
Lovely. I am just sitting here trying to figure out what that schedule looks like. With everything that you do, oh, I can't wait to complete my Guanyin lineage especially since I was under the weather for quite some time and getting the, reading the numerology and all those things. It's so much fun. So I want to say thank you, Cenly. And if you want to, and she plays an instrument too, for God's sake. So I don't know where the schedule. I've got to see the schedule. So I want to say thank you so much, Cenly, for joining us and sharing, particularly the stories about our parents. Sometimes we don't know what's going to happen in the show, but it does resonate. And again, we're talking about different generations. And when you talk about people have things, you don't know where they came from. You have no idea the work that they had, the sacrifices their parents or their parents' parents or themselves had to go through. You don't judge. We're not here to judge. We're here to compliment and support and congratulate them for being a better person, having a better life, and having a better future. And this is if someone who resonates, that this resonates with you. Awesome. I know it does resonate with me as well. And sometimes you get so much of our journey in our lives, and there's always more to come. Definitely. The thing I would say to everyone right now as we're talking with parents, if your parents are here still, just go out and, you don't have to have a conversation. Just let them know how grateful you are in something. Just surprise them. For those parents who are not here like mine, you can connect with them as well. There's so many ways to do it. And do your part as well. Let them know how grateful you are. It goes a long way. They're not in this space anymore. But I'm telling you, they know exactly what you're doing. And they guide you and protect you. I know mine are. So on that note, I would like to say, do some act of kindness. Make somebody smile. Say congratulations to somebody else. Pay it forward. You don't really know where people have come from. And then it will be a ripple effect. That's how we can save the world. One person at a time. It's a little thing that goes a long way. And most importantly, you don't know who's having a very, very, very difficult day. And you don't know what's in their minds and their thoughts. By doing something very simple and kind, you might be surprised you could be saving someone's life. So on that note, I would like to say aloha, namaste, sitaram, assalamu alaikum, shalom, good morning, good evening, good night. To each and every one of you, I would like to thank Cenly for being with us, and for each and every one of you and all the souls who were here with us today. We had many, many, many souls. Some powerful blessings. Thank you, everyone. Until next time on the Divine Soul Journey, this is Dianne and Cenly saying, we love you, we honor you, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.